So today we are going to do a standard replace your prop. We've got the block of wood up here. Block of wood is absolutely necessary to keep the prop from turning so that you can remove the prop nut. You can see we've removed the prop nut, we've braced the prop, moved the prop nut. And so at this point now we're going to use the prop puller in order to loosen this prop up and see if we can get it knocked off. It sits behind, this piece sits behind the prop right on the shaft, and this nut has a groove in it that sits very nicely up against the end of the shaft. In addition to the prop puller, this is probably the hammer is the main tool to get the prop off. So we're going to take a very large wrench here that we've got a fair amount of torque on, and we're going to put it on that prop, on that nut right there. And you can see that I am tightening this down. Now what you want to do is you want to tighten it down just, you know, good and snug like this, and it'll get to a point where it's pretty tight. So from here, once you've got that tight, you want to make sure that you have a hold of the prop, because that prop's going to potentially come loose. When I hit the top of that nut right there with the hammer, then that prop might break loose. It may not. It may just give us I may have to hit it a couple of times and then tighten it up again and then hit it another time, but we're going to see. All right, so we don't have enough to break it loose quite yet. So you can see that, you know, it probably, you don't think it loosened it up, but it does. And there it pops off. Ideally, we did not want that prop to fall off onto the ground. But you know, this is a good lesson for everyone. Maybe you want to put a piece of carpet or something like that would make this a little bit easier to put it down. Here's the blade right here that's bent though. So if you look at the rest of these blades, they're straight right here. But you can see this is the one we hit. And you can feel it. You can feel it right there. It's almost hard to see. So we have the old prop off, and now we are going to put the new prop on. All right, we'll have no more use for this tool. I will need my trusty little block of wood here though. This is a prop that was previously bent, so it's not the first time you'll bend a prop. And this one's been rebuilt, and you can see that, you know, it looks this one here will look every bit as good as this one does when I get it back with that one little fixed spot. But I'll put that back in the box. I'll take that to my prop guy, and when I get it back, we'll have a nice spare prop. Okay, one other thing that might be kind of interesting here is this prop has a little bit of cup in it right here. So when I had the guy do this prop, I said, look, I want to get a little bit more speed and thrust out of it. And so I had him put just a little cup right there. You can see that just grooves right up. What that does is that throw a little bit more water off this prop. When that prop came off, there was also a key that this key right here fits into a groove right here on the prop. So you can see that the shaft goes in here. This key right here needs to go in here, and it's what keeps it's what fits into a groove. There's another groove right here you can't see it, but on the bottom of this, there's a groove right here that key fits into. You've actually got to put the key in the shaft, and then you have to line up the prop and slide it on. And the reason you have to do that is that key, it has a slot right here that doesn't go all the way to the end. It has a little spot on the back so that the key the prop cannot come off, or the key cannot come off out of the back. So the best way to do that, and to get that to stay in there, because you won't be able to hold it in there, is to get yourself just some red grease. And you get some grease like this on your key, and spread it on there a little bit. This red grease is thick enough that when I put it in this slot on the shaft, that grease is holding that key in place. Now the other thing you want to do to get this prop to seat just right is you do want to just put a little bit of grease all the way around that. Even on these threads is probably good. You don't need to put a lot on it. And you can see that's staying in there pretty good. I mean, it's not coming out because that grease is holding it in. To try to get that key to stay in there and slide the prop in at the same time is just really difficult. So just a little trick, throw a little grease on there. If you don't have grease, maybe you got a jar of Vaseline. You can actually use Vaseline, it'll do exactly the same thing. And all that grease is gonna get blown off of there anyway once you get it in the water and it starts turning, because believe it or not, that prop generates a lot of heat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line that up with that slot on the prop. See that? So now that key is lined up with the slot on the prop. And when I push it on there, the key is now inside and matched up with the slot on the prop. So now we have the prop mounted. Now what you want to do is you just want to kind of go around it and make sure that you've got it seated on there. Don't let go of the prop here while you've got it on though, because it could slip off of there and fall on the ground. And now you got a prop that has another ding in it. And that could be another $100 bill to get that taken care of. And these are very touchy. I mean, you really do have to have these balanced very, very well, or you're going to get vibration in these boats. In particular, this is a Malibu 25 LSV, and so it's a wake surfing boat. And as a result, we put 5,000 pounds of ballast in it to get the back down and throw a big wave out there. And so this prop is going to get a lot of torque. We're now going to take that prop nut and we're going to just put that prop nut down here tight. All right, you can see that I've got it tight enough now that the prop's turning. So my very important block of wood tool here, I need to throw that up under here and just wedge it up on one of the blades. It will not hurt your blade, so don't have to worry about that. Use a piece of wood because the wood is soft. And as I turn it, if the blade needs to be pushed into the wood, then it's not going to hurt that blade. It's going to it'll just eat very easily and nicely. Okay, so you can see I got that tight there. I am going to take this big old wrench here. Got to be careful here though. That last wrench, I just tightened it up, really nice. You don't want to over tighten this. That's a locking nut and it has a nylon bushing in it that keeps the nut locked. So I'm just going to test to see, how tight it is. And it's pretty tight. I don't want to try to tighten it any more than that. As you'll notice at the beginning of the video, I did not pull this cotter pin out of the shaft, and the reason I didn't is because it was missing. Either I failed to put it in the last time I did this, or it got lost in the process. But nonetheless, we didn't lose the prop, so all's good. So this is a cotter pin. You want a stainless steel pin. Well, I just go down to Elliott's Hardware. Elliott has a really great selection of stainless steel nuts, bolts, cotter keys, so on and so forth. So I'm going to take that key, and you can see there's a hole right here, and I am going to just put that key in the hole, and then I'll get a pair of pliers right here, and I'm going to just take and bend those back just like that. Now it's fine just like that, but I'm going to bend it back a little bit further. I just don't want those sharp edges sticking out, okay? And you never know, somebody's back here swimming. I know the prop's way under the boat. Highly unlikely that anybody's going to get their foot under there. But nonetheless, we'll put those up like that. All right. We've got it all ready to go. You know, I'm gonna give it a couple of twists like this. Now you can hear that vibration. That's completely normal. That's the bushing inside this shaft, the shaft guide. And you know, make that noise when there's no water in it. The water is the lubricant. But you can see that I can turn this and I can tell that the shaft's not bent. So one of the things you want to do is make sure that your shaft's not bent as a result of the fact that you hit your prop. And so there we go. We are ready to hit the lake.